Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I will share with you a very nice bag recipe, made with spaghetti paper string and made from a famous brand. First I want to show our bag closely. Look, we will apply the fan model. It is incredibly easy to make. I am sure even those who are starting to knit for the first time can do this very easily. Again, I used wooden beaded handles like this in the original. You can also make knitted handles if you want, or I used a single colored handle like this. I used a ready-made handle. You can also use colored handles if you want. This is entirely up to your taste. I want to show you the inside of the bag right now. It's quite deep inside. Aces will come in this bag, and the mouth part will snap just like the original. After placing the handles like this, I will complete my bag by lining the inside and finally snapping it as I said. But I will be sharing with you in detail how I did it until this stage. It's a really enjoyable build, a model that you can finish in just a few days. It's already going very enjoyable. I tried to share all the details with you step by step in the video. I hope that will be useful. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. You can subscribe to our channel for free. I would be really happy if you like the video and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I used 2 balls of spaghetti yarns paper yarn for my bag. I want it right away. Let me share with you the feature of the yarn quickly. Its mixture is 100% paper weight, in the range of 130 to 150 grams. It is 250 meters long. It is a very soft paper yarn. It has many different color options. You can look at different color options by visiting .com. By the way, I would like to share a nice discount news from Spaghetti special for my subscribers. You can complete your shopping with a 10% discount with the Gulkin10 code, which you can use for purchases of 100 teraliters or more from spaghettiar.com. I would like to thank Spaghettiar's family very much for this nice discount. I used 3mm crochet hook while working with my yarn. You can determine your own crochet number according to the thinness and thickness of your own yarn and the tightness and looseness of your knitting. I will use paper thread again when describing our model. Spaghettiar's paper thread. Look, first of all I want to show the starting point of the model. It's a model we built directly on the chain. It is incredibly easy to make. Let's start right away. We first start with the chain. After making the first chain lock, let's start from the setting we knitted. We are preparing our starting chains so that they are a little loose. Since we built the model on the chain, we will not waste any time counting the chains. I pulled my chains about 10 centimeters more than I wanted. When you have leftover chain, you can cut it or remove it by disassembling it. The chain will not be a problem at all. At this stage, you can pull your chain as much as you want on the widest part of your bag until it reaches the size you want. Now I will be describing the model to you with a small example. Once you understand the logic, you can work in the sizes you want. Now take a look at my chain. Here, I pulled the reverse part of the chain, not the straight part. I'm turning it around. Look, we're going to use these dashed lines at the back, these points. Now I'm letting go of the last chain I pulled. I sink directly into the back cut line of the next chain. I remove the loop from here. I have 2 stitches to fill. I knit single needle. First we start with 1 single crochet. We fill our crochet again. Here we skip 1 or 2 chains and make a loop by sinking into the back cut line of the 3rd chain. Look, we started with single crochet. We wrapped it around the head of our crochet hook. We knit 1 or 2 third chains and knit a double handrail. We wandered around the 2 together, both together. Now we knit 5 double handrails into this chain. 2. In the same space, 3 fourth double handrail in the same space, 5th double handrail in the same space. Look, we knitted our 5 double handrails. Now we count the chain again. We skip 1, 2 chains, dive directly into the back cut line of the 3rd chain, remove the stitch and knit single crochet. The model consists of single crochet, 5 crochets, single crochet, and 5 crochets. The space we left in between is 2 chain spaces. After the single crochet, we knit 5 double crochets in this gap by skipping 1 or 2 chains directly and sinking into the back cut line of the 3rd chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We knit 5 crochets, then we leave 1. 2 chains again and sink into the back cut line of the 3rd chain and knit single crochet. Look, the model just goes on and on from this range. I continued until I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, if we make 3 here, it will be enough. Look, I'm filling up, leaving 1 or 2 in my chain. I'm going into the chain and knitting 5 double handrails. I continued until I had 10 fans in my big bag, which I will show at the end. Now, in this small piece, I am making 3 fans. 4, let's do it now. How in that increasing chain? Let's show that we destroyed it. 2, 4, 5. Then you need to dive into the 1st, 2nd, 3rd space and finish with a single crochet. 1, 2, 3 to 3rd chain. Single needle. Now 2 chains are too much here. You can open and disassemble it. Let me show you this way. Or for example, if there are more chains left, you leave 2 chains and cut them. After cutting, you tighten the thread here. It can also happen this way, or look like me. If you have a little chain left, immediately remove these 2 chains and make a last chain, a lock chain. Look at my 1 chain here. Lock it like this, like this. I'm closing. Look, I disassembled it. This is how we eliminate the increasing chain. What do I do now after the single needle? I started with single crochet when I started. Look, we finished with single crochet at the end. We knit like this. We set up 1, 2, 3 fans. I said there were 10 in this bag. Now we turn it like this. After knitting the last single crochet, we move to the opposite side, again in a straight way. After the single crochet, I fill this short rope directly. You can also hide it inside. I wrap it around the head of my crochet hook after the single crochet. Look, I knitted 5 handrails here. I sink directly into the chain. I knitted 5 handrails here. I'm coming home again. Hiding the short rope, I knit a single needle and then knit 5 clay handrails again. Look, the model remains intact. Let's knit right now. 3, 4, and 5. Then look, I come to the point where the single crochet is. Here on the opposite side was a single needle that I knitted. I immediately dig into the chain of the single needle. I also hide the short rope. Drop a single needle into the point where the single needle is. Look, I'm doing the exact same thing on the other side that I did on the other side. I fill it with single crochet, then I come into the chain where I knitted 5 handrails and knit 5 lock handrails again. I do exactly the same, 2, 3, 4, and 5. At this stage, if you think I knitted fast, you can slow down the video or, on the contrary, watch it by speeding it up. Whatever I did on this side, look, I do the same on the other side. Then after 5 handrails, I have a single crochet here. I immediately come to the chain space of the single needle and sink to the bottom and look, I knit single needle. I got around the last fan here is the 3rd fan. I knit the same chain and knit 5 handrails again. In this model, endings and beginnings are quite distinct. That's why I won't use it as a locator on its hook or anything like that. There is a very nice tip in closing. The end and beginning of the bag is never clear. Now look at the single crochet we started with. I'm coming right to the top of this. Look, there is the single crochet point where we first started. I come to the top and sink. I take off the loop and slide it through my loop. When I look at it now, 5 handrails, single crochets, 5 handrails, single crochets, 5 handrails. We continue as long as we want, then when we finish, we come to the single crochet. After the single crochet, we go to the opposite side, go to this side of the chain, do the same process that I did in the first row on this side, and do the same process on the other side of the chain. See, 5 handrails. 5 handrails. Single crochets, 5 handrails, 5 handrails, 5 handrails. At the end, we dipped into the top of the single crochet, made our shift, and came to this stage. Now at this point, we are going up with 1, 2, 3 chains, and we will accept these 3 chains as a handrail. Look, we are on the single crochet. We are at the top of the single crochet. We pulled our 3 chains. We accept this as a handrail. We wrapped it around. Now I'm knitting 3 double handrails on the top of the single needle here. Look, we will now work on 5 handrails on single needles, but here we will have 4 handrails with the chain at the end and the beginning. I knitted 2 or 3 handrails. Look at the 4th handrail. Dot with this chain. When finishing, we will knit the remaining 1 second and complete the count to 5. There is a catch here. This ending and beginning are important. Now when we started with 3 crochets on single crochet. What will we do here? Now the single needles will come to the 3rd handrail on the 5 handrails. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 handrails. We're skipping 1 or 2 of them, sinking directly on top of the 3rd one. Single needle. Look, the same example again. 5 crochet stitches will continue. We will make single needles on the 3rd railing. We will knit 5 crochets on the intermediate needles here. We are filling up. Look, there are still 2 handrails left without touching this one. We come directly to the top space where the single crochet is and knit 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After this row, our bag will start to become hollow. After knitting 5 handrails on the top of the single needle, 5 handrails take us across. We immediately skip 1, 2 of them, drop them at the top of the 3rd one, and knit a single crochet directly. We fill directly after the frequent needle. We immediately find the next single needle and knit 5 double crochets on the top of this single needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We knitted 5 handrails, then 5 handrails welcome us again. Dip in the top of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd stitch and make a single crochet. Now let's remember, after this single needle, we have 1 single needle at this end. Now look at it this way. I hope it's understandable. The single needle is quite obvious. You will see this easily when you hold it in your hand. I'm filling up. You can also find it directly here. The gap after jumping 2 handrails. When we look at it immediately, there is a gap in the single needle. We leave the 2 crochets and insert the single crochet into the top of the single crochet at the end and knit 5 double crochets. But at this stage, the base begins to become hollow. Let's shape it like this. We knitted 2, 3, 4, 5 handrails. Immediately we are greeted by 5 handrails again. We skip 1, 2 stitches, insert the 3rd stitch and apply single crochet directly. Look, now the fan is at the edge. Look, it will continue like this. Cross the banisters and make 5 single crochet stitches into the crochet that comes after the single crochet. We are knitting a double handrail. I want you not to interrupt these stages. Let's knit together. What really matters here is the ending and starting point. A very easy example. This is a work we constantly weave. 1, 2, 3. See to the point. Then I see the single needle. Just 5 double handrails. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And immediately single crochet 1, 2, 3. After finishing the last bag, we will iron it from the inside. Now look, I've reached the finishing point. There are 2 handrails left here and the single needle point and the first handrails I started with. Look, we started with 4 handrails. After the single needle, there is no point where I will sting anymore. There is single needle. Now look, I'm filling directly after the single crochet here. I need to complete 4 handrails into 5. Now I'm inserting the single crochet here directly at the top of the single crochet we started with. Look, I sank into the same void. Saw into the top space. I'm knitting 1 double handrail, and by knitting 1 double handrail, the 4 handrails I knitted at the beginning here are completed to 5. What do we do next? Look, we will create the head space of the chain. Now the chain in front of us with 1 handrail becomes the 2nd handrail. We create the head space of this 2nd handrail with the sliding point. Therefore, without touching the chained point, we sink to the top of the 1st handrail we knit, remove the loop and slide it from the other loop. Now when you look at it like this, look at the 5 handrails here. The last handrail we knitted is the 2nd handrail with a chain, and now we are at the top of the 3rd handrail. So what did we do? We knitted single crochet on the 3rd of 5 handrails. Now the single needle of the 3rd handrail will coincide with this point. Now let's not stretch too much here. Pull a chain and see that there are 2 handrails left on this side. We are at the top of the 3rd railing. We go up with the chain and sink to the top of the 3rd railing. We remove the stitch and knit single crochet. And when we do this, endings and beginnings are not clear at all. Now we started with single crochet at the top of the 3rd railing. From now on, this ending and beginning will always be the same. We are filling up. This point always remains at this edge anyway. I fill directly after knitting with single needle. I skip 2 double crochets, then sink directly into the top of the first single needle that comes up and knit 5 lock crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 or 2 of the 5 handrails sinking directly into the third. The single handrail sinks into the top of the next single needle and creates 5 double handrails. Now there are always 5 handrails for the single handrails. The model always repeats itself in the form of a single handrail on the third handrail. The important thing here was the end and the beginning. Look, the model is created in this way. What are we doing next? 1, 2, third handrail here. Let's continue with the single crochet at the top in the form of 5 crochets and come to the single crochet point where we first started. Let's show you the end and the beginning once again. Look, we have come to the end of our row. We have knitted 5 crochets in the single crochet here, and we are at the last point. That is the first single crochet point we knitted. Look, now the chain and single crochet are visible. I come here, I immediately sink to the top of the single crochet. The process in the first row is exactly the same. We sink the first single crochet to the top of the first single crochet we started with and slide it through our stitch, and now we are at the top of the single crochet. See the model. This is how it completes itself. Now we are at the top of the single needle. What are we going to do? We will repeat exactly the fan point below. What had we done? We went up with 3 chains. We are currently at the peak of the single needle. We accepted 3 chains, 1 handrail, and we're starting with 4 handrails. We fill up with this chain. We come to the top of the single needle and knit 3 double handrails. We have 4 handrails with the chain. Look. After completing the work at 12:34, we are greeted by 5 handrails. We skip 1 or 2 of them, dip into the top of the third one, and fill it with a single needle. Then we knit 5 locking handrails on the top of the single needle, and the model repeats itself. When we reach the end of the row, we knit 1 2/3 single needle at the last point here. There are 4 handrail points that meet each other, and we sink to this point, to the top of the single needle here, and immediately sink to this bottom point where these 3 chains come out, knit a handrail, and complete the 4 handrails here to 5. In other words, we do exactly the same process here, and then, without touching the chain, we dip into the top of the first handrail we started here, shift it, and start a new row with a single crochet. And in this way the sequence continues by repeating itself. Such an easy and enjoyable recipe. I want to show it right at the end point. Look, it's in my big bag. Look, it's not clear at all. Look, this is the end and start point, always in the same line. The end and start point move forward. Now, when we started here, I said that we started 10 fans. If I were to tell you the number of rows right away, look, I start from the range at the bottom where I started and start counting. When counting this pattern, it is necessary to count diagonally rather than straight up, so that we can find out how many rows we have knitted. Now, after counting, I will give you the measurement in centimeters. Look, the first range we started with is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I completed my bag by knitting 24, 25, 26 rows. This size was enough for me. You can make it in any size you want. If I were to give the brand in centimeters, down in centimeters. If I were to keep it to one part, 37 centimeters down. He is 38, 39 centimeters tall. This is how I prepared our bag. What do we do in the last part? Look, I finished with the last fan again. Look here to show you how. I left my yarn a little long. 2 skeins of yarn are enough. We knitted the last handrail. Look, we started with 4 handrails. We knit the 5th handrail while finishing it. Then, after knitting the last handrail, when I finish, I cut the stitch a little longer and take it out from here. This is too long. Let's shorten it a little bit. Look, after knitting the last handrail, I took the yarn out of the ball. I don't touch the chain again. I sink into the top of the first railing from the inside out, that is, from the inside out, and take this rope in first. Then, at the point where the rope comes, I immediately sink into the back cut line at the back point and top of the last handrail we knitted. Take this rope on the tip of my hook and pass it through the point where I sink. And lo and behold, the ending is The ending and starting point are not clear at all. Afterwards, of course, we cannot leave this rope here like this. It needs to be fixed. Let's make it unbreakable with a chain. Let's get bored. Then you can easily double this rope by sinking from the back points of the handrails. We can hide it. Look, we have completed our work this way. This was our measurement. Finally, wooden beads were used in the original bag. I had a handle with beads ready like this. I'm going to place this on the inside like this. I will finish my bag by sewing this again with paper thread. You can also make knitted handles. It doesn't have to be a beaded handle like this. You can also use colored beads like in the original. This is entirely up to your taste. The original bag also had a lining. I recommend using this bag as a liner. Because we started with a chain, there are slight gaps in between. When you throw a small piece, it may fall into the bag. That's why it is useful to use it with a primer. You can also complete your bag with lining and snap fasteners. Now I will place my basket, finish my bag, and share the final version with you. We completed it by sewing our handle onto our bag. After lining the inside of the bag, we will finish our bag by sewing it to the last snap point. Our recipe was like this. I hope you like it and try it too. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.